Is this good?
Yes.
Okay. So I told myself, yes, to push myself out of my comfort zone as often as possible, the pact. Because I wanted to grow. I wanted to see more about what did I like, what don't I like, just sort of reinvent myself in a nice way. And one of these things was, well, one of the ways I was doing this was by joining different classes, different courses and events. One such event was an eye contact experience. Now, for those of you who might not know what that means, an eye contact experience, I think you've gone to this before, is when essentially two people hold each other's gaze. You look into each other's eyes for a certain amount of time. This can be a stranger, it can be a friend, anyone. That might sound easy and fun for a lot of you. For a relatively shy Brit, it's my worst nightmare. It really took a lot of guts for me to be able to sign up for something like this. It's not something I do naturally and normally. But I thought I had to. I was going to push myself out of my comfort zone that year. So, and on top of that, a couple of my friends had told me about their own experiences, and it sounded really profound and intense. So I thought, I was very intrigued. I want to try this. So the night comes, and I've got this kaleidoscope of butterflies fluttering around my stomach. But I go anyways. And as I enter the room, actually, a calmness already kind of emanates throughout me because it's a beautiful yoga space. There are these pistachio green yoga mats in a circle around the room. And there's this beautiful glow because there's candles in white paper lanterns dotted around the room. And the aroma that fills the air is incense. And then there's this beautiful soft breeze coming in from the open window. It's a beautiful setting. So I'm a little bit calmer. And as I'm sort of scanning the room and taking it all in, I notice there are some people already in their eye contact experience. There are others sitting on their own on these yoga mats. And then there are others like me who've just entered and who are just figuring out what to do. So I decide to sit on a yoga mat on my own and wait for someone to come to me. Pretty quickly, this woman comes and sits in front of me. We don't speak. We just sort of acknowledge that this is what's going to happen. Okay. And as this is going on, I'm looking into her eyes and I'm noticing there are these beautiful light green and blue eyes that I actually probably wouldn't have noticed because she's got really small eyes and they're hidden behind glasses. But because we're doing this exchange, I'm penetrating into her soul by looking into her eyes. And I'm going from her right eye to her left eye and back again. And I'm thinking, okay, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? This is wonderful. I feel nothing. I feel nothing. Am I doing something wrong? I start to wonder, should I have meditated before I come? Should I have done something differently? What am I doing wrong? And then I realize you don't have a connection with everyone that you cross paths with. It's quite natural. So I think as I'm dawning on this, she's also capting, and because she closes her eyes and that sort of signals this is the end of our exchange. It's hard to tell how long that was. I would venture to say about 5 minutes. I was pretty disappointed because I had pretty set and high expectations of what this was meant to be like. But I tell myself, I'm going to try it again. I notice there's a guy about my age sitting across the room from me on his own. He's got this dark hair and a bushy beard, and I think, all right, he looks quite interesting. I stand up, I walk towards him. We look at each other without saying anything, acknowledged, okay, I can sit here. And as I'm sitting down, I'm going down, I'm crossing my legs, and I'm sort of readying myself for my second experience, and then as I'm looking up slowly, trying to mentally get ready, and I look up and I look into his eyes, I'm entranced. I can barely discern his jet black pupils from his dark chocolate irises, and yet there's this depth within his eyes that I can't explain. I feel like this blanket of calmness has enveloped me, and yet at the same time my blood is coursing with this zapping energy. It's something I've never felt before. And as I'm looking into his eyes, I'm wondering who he is. I'm asking him questions. Who are you? Where do you come from? Have you done this often? Do you speak German or English or perhaps an entirely different language? Who are you? And at the same time, I'm willing him to understand who I am. And I'm trying to tell him my story. And as I'm doing this, I'm trying to look into his eyes and gauge if any flicker or movement is him capturing anything that I've tried to silently share with him. And sometimes his eyes crinkle into a smile and his lips curl up, and I can't help but mirror that without knowing what it is that he's smiling about. And then there are times when he's glazed over, as if in a meditative trance, and he's not there with me anymore, and I'm willing him desperately to come back to us, to this moment, to this space, and be here with me. Inevitably, he always does. It's like there's this switch, and he's back in, and we're looking at each other and exchanging this moment. And I wouldn't say that I was physically attracted to this man, but there was a very clear moment where I felt every fiber in me willing to lean forward and kiss him deeply and break this extra space, close it up between us so that there was nothing else holding us apart. And yet something held me back because I felt this moment was more pure than a physical touch. It was something higher. I can't explain it. I've actually never felt anything like that before. And as quickly as that moment came to me, it also left. And it went back into this shared, beautiful moment of space between us. And as this is happening, a gong resounds around the room. It must be 9 p.m., the end of the session. I've been looking into this man's eyes for 1 hour and 45 minutes. I hadn't noticed that time go by. And I have to say that I'm so deeply pleased that I pushed myself out of my comfort zone and I went to an experience that terrified me, I have to be honest, because I got so much out of this. I can't explain it, but it helped me so much. And I entered that room with the lowest of energies, feeling very drained, and I left brimming with energy.